Countdown for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Now, if you'd like to send us an email at xzone at xzoneradiotv.com on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And we're coming to you on the Mutual Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and on Simul TV on the X-Zone TV channel, which is channel 54. And for more information on the Simul TV and how you can get some of the best programming available, whether it's from Sony, whether it is from any of the major news sources, or right here on the X-Zone TV channel, 724, 365, visit www.xz. I'm sorry, that's my website. No, we won't do that to Steve. www.simultv.com. I was just speaking to our guest prior to going on air, Jeff Krause, and he was telling me that it was up to 107 degrees not that long ago. And Jeff, 107 degrees, my Lord, man, how do you do it?
Well, you go from air-conditioned building to air-conditioned building. Don't spend very much time outside and drink a lot of water.
Just water?
Well, if you want to stay hydrated, no.
Okay.
Truth in advertising, the air-conditioned buildings that I hop to are
Right.
bars. So obviously I'm not drinking water there. But with the heat like this, it's really not conducive to drinking much of anything. It's just uncomfortable out there.
Is this weather unusual for your part of California?
It is. The average here, probably between 68 and 75. Once in a while, it'll swing up into the 80s, and we really start whining and complaining. And then there's really rare days where it gets triple digits, and a lot of people suffer from it because they're not prepared. They don't have air conditioning. But and plus we've been having the rolling blackouts in the area, which don't help. Yesterday, half of the town was out of power here, and it was 107 degrees. So that's, really the worst conditions you can expect.
Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in the UFO search for existence and looking for ET.
Well, sighting is probably how most people get the most interest. In the 60s, on the way to the New York World's Fair, I had an experience where I think I might have seen something, which kind of always sparked my interest from that point on. Then later, my relatives, when I was a little bit older, told me about the Roswell thing happening because they lived in Artesia, New Mexico, which is just south of Roswell. So they had told me about, the flying saucers were real in the 70s, which kind of sparked my interest. What really kind of got me going, in 79, I was living in a recording studio in Azusa, California. And early in the evening, I saw a craft hovering above. It's probably about a mile long, rectangular shape, maybe a half mile in width. Not sure how thick it was because I really couldn't see that part of it. And the length, I'm just guessing because I knew where it was traveling, how many signals, the distance in between the signals and what I could see. And it was hovering really slow. I'd say maybe 25, 30 miles an hour, and low enough where everyone in the market parking lot could see it still. And, it was kind of concert-like atmosphere. People were whistling at it and whooping. And I said to the person I was with at the time, this is obvious. This is going to be all over the news the next day. It might even be on the news tonight. Well, for sure going to see it in the paper. And of course, the next day there wasn't a word about it. But it was really bizarre because it was moving along, and then all of a sudden, when you shut off old cathode ray TVs, how they get that white line across it, or when Pablo Picasso would do the light drawings, moving past. That was kind of the same thing. It moved so fast all of a sudden that it looked like a light line being drawn, and it made like a horizontal line in the sky. And then it was a pinpoint again. I'd say, well, from Azusa to San Bernardino is probably about close to 50 miles. And I'm guesstimating that that's where it went to when it went to that point. But then with only maybe a couple seconds hovering there, the point of light that we saw just shot up into the sky and was gone that fast. So that really set me on the course of wanting to research the phenomena and investigate other sightings and things that I heard.
Now, how many years have you been a UFO researcher?
Well, since the 80s, amateurishly.
Right.
I joined MUFON in 2014 and soon became the state director there. And of course, I investigated thousands of cases through them. But it's a little different doing it through an organization like MUFON because you get so many reports coming in of just misidentification of things and common occurrences. Whereas when you're not getting reports from everywhere and everything, the reports that come in tend to be a little bit more specific and a little bit more clarified, and I think in some cases a little more interesting.
How many investigations would you do in a year?
Personally?
Yeah.
Well, I know there was a couple times when we had flaps when I had 30 cases going at a time.
My good God.
But in a year, it was not uncommon to go through 200 or 300 cases personally.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe you were getting zapped by an alien there because the way you jerked back.
No,
right.
I'm okay. Well, I am sitting in a wooden chair that's a pain, but no, I'm okay.
And I bet you I know where that pain is.
Yep.
Okay. How is it going with MUFON and with all the information that is coming out about the UAPs, the Tic Tac, the congressional hearings? How is that affecting the UFO field in general?
Well, anytime the subject is opened up and people are talking about it, it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Clarification, I think, is a bit of an issue. A lot of people are under the assumption that it was the government that leaked the videos, and that wasn't the case at all. It was the hard work of Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer. I hope I get his name right. Anyway, that gentleman who worked with Bob Lazar, making the Bob Lazar movie, is responsible for a lot of the release of those videos, and also with Luis Elizondo and the connection through To the Stars Academy. The government fast-tracked after they were out and then said, yes, these are genuine videos. But they were also asked at the same time, do you have anything more? And their reply was yes, but you'll never see it. So I think anything that comes out from the government, it's done begrudgingly. Lord knows I've written enough freedom of information requests that, you unless you can nail down specific dates and times, they'll dance around it and try and tell you that no information exists for that. But once you narrow the scope down and have, proof or another form that relates to that form in writing. And then they say, oh, yeah, oh, well, there is this here. And I've had a couple, in fact, by San Luis Obispo slow UFO investigation. I got some interesting FOIA responses back on that. At first, they admitted that they were unable to process the request in the time period because of the fact that I knew the date, the time, and the Project Blue Book file number. So they had to get together with the other people involved and discuss how they were going to handle that, pretty much admitting I caught them with their pants down. I later did get a reply on that. Department, or the DOA, I think it was. No, it was the DOA that sent me a FOIA response with the actual file numbers. I can find all the information pertaining to that case in the National Archive now. So, yeah, there are some Project Blue Book cases that apparently are unclassified, and the information about that investigation is there for anyone who cares to go to the archive and trudge through it and look that stuff up, which that is no easy feat, I might add. The archive could be daunting.
Jeff, what was the significance of the Tic Tac video footage that was leaked out?
I think it's a neat video. The whole thing, I think the emphasis and everyone's attention is on the darn Tic Tac. And if you know anything about the incident, when the Navy jets arrived on the scene there, at first they thought there was a crashed airplane underwater or something, because there was a large object underwater. And then the Tic Tac made an appearance and got their attention and scooted off, and they all went chasing it, which to me, I think that must have been a diversionary drone, and it did its job, leading them away from the real target, which could have been a larger mothership type craft. And of course, anyone that's heard me talk about the fields of propulsion that they probably used knows that I'm a firm believer that if they're traveling inside the field, they can go in and out of water without even raising a ripple. And if that's the case, well, it certainly wouldn't matter the size of the ship. But going back to the point, I want to know about the big thing, not the little Tic Tac thing that got their attention and made them all chase after it.
What do you think? What do you think the Tic Tac and the other object were? Do you think they were from outer space? Were they extraterrestrial in content and context, or were they maybe a weapon under experimental status?
I don't think any of that technology is anything any nation on this planet has. But now who's to say? Maybe there's something going on underwater. This planet's mostly water.
Yeah.
If you wanted to hide and build a base, seems to me the best place to prevent snooping and observation by people you didn't want looking into your business would be underwater.
Jeff, you and I have to take a commercial break. Do you have a website that our listeners can go to?
I sure don't at the moment, no. You can find me on Facebook, and that's about it at the moment. But as stuff starts growing, I'll be posting everything from there.
All right, Jeff. And watch yourself, because I saw you take a little tumble again with that chair. And I've never had a casualty on this show in over 32 years, and I don't want you to be the first.
I'm good.
All right, Jeff, stand by, my friend. You and I will be back on the other side of this break. And X-Zone Nation, this is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you'd like to send me an email, X-Zone Radio TV, and on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. I'll be back on the other side of this break with Jeff. I hope, that is, if he doesn't fall off the chair and get a splinter, and you know what? Don't go away.
Do you you enjoy paranormal, sci-fi romance, yet find yourself tired of the same old themes and storylines? Then you won't want to miss Kahira O'Donnell's latest exciting release, To Taste You Again. Alien Lord Kane McKean knew the moment that his destined mate was born. He watched from afar, waiting for her to grow from child to woman. However, before she was old enough, she was stolen from her home world by flesh pirates. Kane searched 10 long years to find her held in a suspension chamber, a 10-year-old girl in a woman's body. He rescued her and swore to give her time to grow up, but with his very life depending upon winning her as a mate, has he waited too long? Get your copy today. To Taste You Again by Kahira O'Donnell is now available on Amazon or KahiraO'Donnell.com.
And welcome back, everyone. Jeff Krause is my special guest of this hour. And Jeff is with MUFON. He is an independent as musician. He knows a lot of good people in the field. And we're talking about, well, UFOs this hour. Jeff, with all the modern technology that we have available to us now, everybody has a high-definition camera in their cell phone. How come there hasn't been that smoking gun that would be undeniable proof that the governments around the world could not get away with the truth embargo that they're getting away with?
Well, one of my friends in England told me, and this pretty much sums it up. He said, you American ufologists all see UFOs in your pancakes. and really, he's got a point. If you listen to every sighting you hear coming from all over every day, you'd think these skies are literally crowded and we should be seeing all kinds of crisscrossing traffic and everything.
Right.
And, oddly enough, that's not the case. Now, 95% of the reports that came into MUFON when I was with them, simple misidentifications of things. It's that very small percentage of cases that is very interesting and holds some merit to what might possibly be the extraterrestrial theory.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can't go and say, this is an unknown. Now let me tell you all about it. It's either an unknown or you have an inkling of what it might be.
Right, that makes sense.
Now, we don't hear of anything in the U.S. arsenal except for maybe Aurora, and nobody's actually got a photo of Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
but yet we know it's probably our highest tech aircraft that we have at the moment. Other than what I like to talk about, the TR-3B, the black triangles that have been seen. And, the Federation of American Scientists on their website, they list all the aircraft in the American arsenal, everything that we fly, even a lot of the experimental aircraft and the drones. And back around 2014, they even listed the TR-3B. Had a picture of it even in there. I started talking about it then, and I think I'd answered some questions at the first Alien Con in Santa Rosa about it, and someone got really upset, and I referred them to that website. And within a month of that, the page, not just the reference to the TR-3B, but that whole page